Good morning. So I'm out on a walk with the dogs this morning, and there's so much that I want to say, and there's so much that I need to really talk out. I'm really happy that I'm doing these videos. I feel like I know that I'm on my way to it's a spiritual awakening, rising, and I'm happy that I'm documenting it all. And it really helps me to talk through it all. I think I'm going to turn around and start going the other direction. My kids are home. So my two younger boys are home sleeping, and it's about 8:30 now. It's Friday, and my oldest son is on his way. He called me and said he was on his way. So I told him I was out for a walk and that I would get there. So I feel on this awakening, there's so many ups and downs. One day I can feel like I'm on top of the world, and the next day I feel so weak. And I know that that's part of it, having to work through my weakness in order to find my power and overcome all the weaknesses and go through all the weaknesses. But these emotions that I've been going through in this past year, it's there's so many emotions that I don't even recognize. Emotions that I guess that I have the capability to feel, obviously, because otherwise I wouldn't feel them. So they're there. What do I have here? Otherwise I wouldn't feel them. Uh, But at the same time, they're emotions that I've never felt, and they're like crude and harsh, and they feel like they're not even mine. I don't know where they're coming from. And I guess it's part of knowing my full expansion, knowing the full range of emotions that I can feel, that I'm capable of feeling. So it doesn't really matter where they come from. They are in me if I'm feeling them, so they're mine. And I guess the more emotions that I'm capable of feeling, the more I can connect to others. And I feel like it is me connecting to others. These emotions that I'm feeling are, there's like a network, and I'm connected to it, and I'm going through all of the emotions in this expansion, and having to overcome them, be able to, the things that I felt a year ago. I was last night, okay, so on the twin flame journey, there are a few things that I want to work out. I miss him. And yesterday I made a video, I think yesterday morning, about like getting cheap satisfactions. It's like getting a drug, like addictions, going to meet other people, or have or I haven't been intimate with anybody for over a year, but I was talking about how you can go to others to get cheap satisfaction, like to get your mind off, but it's just like for a moment. It's not really satisfying, and it just prolongs your self-work. And you can do it for a lifetime. You can prolong your self-work for a lifetime, so that you don't have to go through this pain. numbing yourself through cheap satisfactions or like sexual encounters or things that keep your mind, that give you like in the moment, give you a satisfaction for a second, but then they actually in the long run they're getting you further away from the goal that you actually want, which is a meaningful, lasting, a strong, trusting relationship. If I show myself that, I mean, it's like not being loyal to yourself, first of all, not being loyal to yourself, because if what you really want is this and you're trying to get your mind off of this and you're going over here and doing this, you're not trustworthy for yourself. You're not actually being true to yourself of what you really, really, truly want, and being able to say, okay, I'm going to triat sipukim is like um, cheap gratifications. Like I'm willing to push out cheap gratifications and go through the pain in order to really achieve what I truly want. And it's like that with anything in life. It's like that with anything in life. It's like that with this workshop that I'm doing, this retreat that I'm doing. It's something that scares me. But it scares me. What if I freeze? What if sometimes I go and I become like a raisin. What if I'm not connected? What if I go there and I'm like this? Which I don't think it will be, because once I get into nature with people, I like people. People interest me, especially people, the kind of people that will come to a retreat like this are people that will interest me and that are interested in what I have to say or what I have to offer, what we have to say or what we have to offer as a group. I think that the retreat itself, because it is in the outside, outdoors, it pulls people that are attracted to that. So, or people that want more of that in their life. So I think that it's going to be exact. But that's something that scares me. So I could do a cheap satisfaction for something like that. Could be like, okay, so I never do a retreat like that. I never put something like that together because I never have the balls, let's say, to do it. I'm going to go ahead and sit and make this video. I don't feel like walking around. So if I never have the balls to do it, then I could spend a whole lifetime just doing menial tasks and sending off packages to Amazon or going and working at a day job, because I don't have the power to stand up into myself and do what I truly want to do because I'm afraid. So it's pushing through the fear. You have to push through the fear at some point. But with the twin flame journey, it's also the same. So I was talking after I made that video yesterday about addiction, how going to others is kind of like an addiction. It's kind of like giving yourself an out. It's giving yourself a cheap release from the pain. Relief, release, relief, whichever, both. And so my friend that I'm in touch with, that she watches my videos and then she comments to me in my phone, she said that she feels like her twin flame is her addiction. And it's funny because I was having the exact same thoughts. And in the way that I was having the exact same thoughts yesterday, and then she wrote that to me, and it was so funny. It was so funny. It was like, I don't know, on this twin flame journey, I feel like we're all connected. All of us who are going through this twin flame journey, we're all kind of going through the same things at the same time. Some people are in different places in the journey. That basically it feels like we're all connected to the same energies, and the same energies are we're all getting the same messages and interpreting them through different words and different expressions, because we're each like a little drop of water. We're each a different expression of the same thing. And so the energies that are running through me are running through other divine feminines for sure. I can see it every time I read like divine feminine's channeling. Look at Lola, she's so cute. Look at her. I'm not gonna give her attention because she'll come over here and she'll start licking me. She's so cute. Look. And And so we all are saying pretty much the same things at the same time, but in different words or in different expressions or in different interpretations, but it's all the same. And she was saying that she feels like her twin flame is her addiction. Like she has her husband, and she feels like he's a soulmate, and they're close, and they're dependent on each other and dependent on one another, and that she has already given up any kind of hope for reunion, which I don't 100% believe her, because she is still finding ways to be in contact with him, and when the contact is cut, she is in pain. Um, Partially, maybe subconsciously, and I know she's going to be watching this, all up in this. So, but I say what I think, and she has told me that she likes that I say what I think. So, and she says what she thinks. So it's even in that way. Um, so she was saying that she feels like her twin flame is her addiction. I was thinking of feeling the same way, and the reason why I feel that is because it's like I miss him. You see how much I miss him? I've already been missing him for days. I miss him. I have this like, and then when we're together, there's so much I want to tell him, but when we're together, it's just like the whole world stops, and I don't talk to him about all the things that have been going on, or sometimes I do to an extent, updating him and stuff, but we just are together and joking and laughing and being together, and and it feels like I get a fix. It's like it feels like all of a sudden all of the time that I had missed him just falls away. It's like it all doesn't matter, and I'm just in the moment, and it's like all of this won't matter when I see him. So all of the pain just goes away, and in that way, it feels like an addiction. And I was thinking also about that panic attack that I had the other day, and I had like pressure in my chest, and how I say and I feel like that he is my best friend. But then when I came to a point of panic and that I needed somebody, okay, I want to tell about that because I made two videos that day. And the first video got cut short because I had a phone call, and I said I went to my parents' house, but I went to my parents' house and they were sleeping, and I didn't feel like being there, and I didn't feel like waking them up for it. And then I called my friend and he said, come, and I went over to his house. And I also said in the second video that it was the first video that I made because I wasn't intending on putting up the first video. So, but then I ended up going ahead and putting up both of the videos. So they're kind of contradicting. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there because I was looking at it afterwards. I was thinking, oh, but in any case, I went over there, and then after I left, and the person that I wanted to call the most would have been my twin, but it was like, why don't I feel like I can call him? That was something that afterwards I was thinking, if we're supposedly best friends or supposedly, and he also told me once that even if we're in separation, like we're not together, to remember that he is my best friend. And he says things like that. Even when we're not talking, I'm still your best friend. So why is it that when I felt like I needed somebody, I didn't feel like I could call him? And it just shows me how I want to be able to call him. We're friends. And I think that I feel like, see, why when I need somebody do I feel like I can't depend on him, or he's not my go-to? I know there's other reasons. I was making all sorts of excuses to myself. And my go-to was, there's all sorts of reasons. And my go-to was my really good friend, and I'm so appreciative that I have good friends, and my go-to was my ex, one of one of one of one of my most recent. Now I have all sorts of reasoning for that. So I could say, oh, he's close. We had just been in contact a few days earlier. I know that I can depend on him in the physical world. You know, when he needed me, I was there for him in a similar situation. And I feel like I can, there's less writing on it, maybe. Or maybe I just trust that he would answer me and feel me and be there for me. And with my twin, I don't always feel like that. That's why I was really going through the thoughts afterwards of, why do I feel like I can call my ex but I can't call my twin, when supposedly we're best friends, and I feel like in some ways he's the closest person to me and the one that understands me the most. But then when I go through something like that, I don't feel like I can call him, because I'm afraid. What am I afraid of? I feel like he might not answer me, or I might think that I'm just being dramatic, or he'll push me away, or that he doesn't, or that he just won't be there for me for some reason. In the physical world, I feel like he just won't be there for me, because there's a lot of times that I call him, like in the last couple of days, I've called him a couple times to see if he wanted to meet, and he said no both of the times. He'd rather watch paint dry. That's not what he said, yeah, but that's the gist of it. The gist of it is that he'd rather do other things than see me, and he doesn't want me to be dependent on him, which I get. Like, okay, so he doesn't want my happiness to be dependent on him. I get it. And I get also that that is part of my rising, is that my happiness is not dependent on anybody. But how is that a friendship even? You know, when you have friends, just a round rock. When when you have friends, you want to be with them. You want to spend time with them. It's a friend, even if it's not a romantic relationship. And maybe that's it. Maybe that's it. It's that he can feel that I want a romantic relationship and he doesn't want. Which just makes me sad. And then I look at myself in the camera and I say, I would want to, like, okay, I'm not going to say that. I look at myself in the camera and I say, well, I get it. Even as a whole person, I want someone to spend my time with. I want somebody that, I want to spend my life with somebody. I want to share my life with somebody. Somebody that can, I would, somebody would be here next to me. like I was saying in the video yesterday, that it's nice that I have people that are following me, that whoever's following me in YouTube, because it makes me feel like I'm not so much alone. Like there's people here that are experiencing my life with me, and I'm not all the time crying. I turn on the camera, a lot of times I just start bawling. This morning I was crying. And that was another thing I was going to say, because I put on last night, I've been thinking for the last few weeks about how this whole fiasco started, how this whole twin flame journey started for me in my life. Stinking crying. And how did it start for me? And then I was looking back, because I remembered that when we first started seeing each other, first of all, I looked back in the WhatsApp to see what the date was, because when we first started seeing each other, the first day that we went out together for a day trip, I offered him. And I feel like he has this thing going on where he just tells the universe to bring everything to him, and he sits back with his feet up and goes like this with whatever he wants to bring in. You know, everything's coming to him, and he just pushes what he doesn't want away and allows in what he... And it's like a completely different way of looking at life and feeling. And you know what? I also want to be like that. You know, put out your expression, and what comes to you comes to you. And I'm just something that comes to him. So I was looking back on the days that we first. It was May. It was like the 21st of May last year was the first time that I offered him, hey, let's go, you want to go for a day trip? And he came. And then I noticed, and I remember, that's why I went and looked at it. I went back all the way to the first messages that we had between us. That I remembered that after that first meeting that we had, he offered me a few times to meet, and I pushed him away. And so I went back and I looked at it, and I saw the different times that were like, maybe like 3 times after that he offered me to meet, and I said no. And I remember the mindset, like when I was looking at the messages that I wrote to him, I remember the mindset that I was in. And I remember it not being detrimental at all. I remember it being like, okay, he's going over there. I don't feel like going that far, so no, maybe a different time. Or he offered me, he came all the way, he came here to, you see the pillar? He came here to Nachlamud, which is right under my house, and offered me to come to here and maybe to the beach afterwards with him and his son. And I pushed it. I said, you know, no, have fun. Yeah, my kids were home and I had other things going on, so I pushed him away. And I remember being in that mindset. I remember when we first, like the first time we went out, for me it was kind of like, I didn't quite get him, and there was something that was a little bit funky, and it seemed a little bit complicated. It seemed like, okay, this is something that's a little bit complicated. I don't really know if I want in, or you like, but I didn't have that like overwhelming need or want or latching on like I feel like I have now. And And he was far more expressive. He was far more um, like leaning towards me than I was towards him after that initial first meeting. And it was like, I feel like it was like coming together. And then I was like, take it or leave it. And he was like, okay, we're going to make this come together really good. And then once I'm latched on and once I'm caught up in all his funkiness and I'm hooked, once I'm hooked, then he can just sit back and like have me on a string. That's what it feels like a fish on a string. Reel it in, let it go. Reel it in, let it go. Reel it in, but it's on a hook. And I'm kind of like, in the 5D world, I get it. Like there's a whole story going on there in the 5D world. And sometimes I think like I'm making up this fantasy. But in the 5D world, there's a whole story going on about that. There's like this, it's allowing me to rise in up to enlighten and to a higher level of self. And I also understand because the energy between us, it's like two worlds colliding. The energy between us, like sometimes I feel like I can contain it, and sometimes I feel like I can't contain it. Like this thing with not calling him the other day. Like I feel like when I'm in a state of weakness, I can't contain his energy or something like that. And I want to be able to contain his energy all the time. Containing his energy just as being at ease, I feel like. And I feel like that's the place where we're going. It's to a place of where we can be at ease in where I can be at ease in his presence, where he can be at ease in my presence. And I think that if he feels like I'm wanting more all the time, like latching on, then he can't be at ease. He can't just be let go. And one of the messages that I listened to when we first started meeting, it was right after I think maybe our second meeting when we met with the kids. And then I remember at the end of the meeting, he said something to me, and I told him that I can only take him in little small bites, that okay, it's enough for now, and we left. And then he sent me a couple of messages after that, and in the messages it was he apologized for saying what he said, and he said that he didn't mean anything by it, and that he loves me as a person and this and that, and that he appreciates me as a person and for who I am, and that he didn't mean anything by it, that sometimes he has this trickster that comes out, this archetype trickster that comes out and says things, but to me he has clean intentions, that he likes me as a person, loves me as a person, which is really nice to hear. And then I answered him and I said something to him that I don't, because he said that, some people could be hurt by somebody saying that they can't be around them for very long, that they need that they can only take them in small increments, which is what I told him at the end of the meeting that day. And I also told him that when we meet, I feel there's so much that happens in between us that afterwards I need processing time to understand what was said. Even I'm sitting here under this pillar, and this is where there's a natural spring that comes out here. See down there, it fills up with water in the winter, and it runs right out of the mountain. So it's a natural spring. It comes out of here from the ground. And then I told him that that there's that I can see that there's something with his emotion that I don't feel his emotions. And he answered me to that in a few different um, text messages. I'm talking this is about a year ago, a little over a year ago. And he answered me that emotions can be expressed in many different ways, and that he thinks that what I'm feeling is not that he's not expressing emotion, it's he's not expressing passion towards me, and that the communication between us is clean and clear of any kind of sexual energy or any kind of passion towards me, as you know, man and woman ways that the relationship between us is clean, like kids, like that we go out and we play like children. And I listened to the message a few times to try to hear exactly what. And I was thinking to myself that that's what I'm feeling like is missing. Like that's what he was saying. Like that the sexual energy is what I'm feeling is missing. It's not his emotion that is missing. And since then, I've gotten to know him a lot better. And I know that he has that he the way that he expresses his emotion is different. It's different than the way that maybe I express my emotion, and that's also true. After going back after a year and listening to that again, that I can see what he was saying, that there is a lacking of sexual. And I'm thinking from the beginning, it was like that. And it hurts. It hurts, but it's a good realization. And then I think to myself, you know, there's a part of me, like a little kid in me, that says, why did we ever meet? I would have been better off not knowing that there is that kind of attraction and that kind of love out there. I would have been better off in ignorance. And then the higher me says, no way. The higher me says that I'm so blessed to even have this relationship, even to know that I'm capable of feeling this way or having this kind of feeling towards somebody. A few weeks ago, I was with him and I was sitting next to him, and I had to like hold myself back. I just had like this overwhelming want to just touch him. And I really keep the touching, like I don't touch him. We barely touch. And I had like this yearning just to touch him. And it took everything in me to hold back. I don't want to hold back. I think, wouldn't it be nice? I saw this short video by Teal Swan that said the pain of like breaking up or the pain of not being with somebody is is we always are looking for somebody to replace somebody. But we can't replace somebody with somebody else because every single person is a different flavor. And it's true. Yeah, I'll never find that same flavor. And so it's like this yearning that doesn't get met perpetually. And I feel like there's nothing I can do. Nothing I can do but give up and release. But how do you release? And then I have the part of me that just says, quit fighting against, just let go. Don't, because I have the little kid in me again. It says, go find somebody else. Go find somebody else, a different flavor that will also, there's lots of different flavors. There's, you know, I like bananas and I like strawberries too. And I like cherries and they're different. And I like oranges and I like clementinas and they're all different. Go find a different flavor that you like just as much, but it's different. And then I go back to, it's this twin flame thing is so like, it twists your mind all up. Because on the 3D, you say, okay, that's the what? And you get over him and go find somebody else. And just like, if you can't deal with it, get him out of your life so you can have a life, so you can find a life partner. No, I want to spend my life with somebody. Just cut him out of your life. But what is that? Why would I cut him out of my life? I love him. It's like, if I can't have all of you, then that's it. I'm cutting you out of my life. Why? Why? And then it's like, okay, get your big girl britches on and just allow it to be what will be, and allow him, however much he's in your life or not in your life, then just, regardless, just continue on your life. But at the same time, I'm not attracted to anybody as long as he's in my life. And so then I start thinking, if this is the way that it is, and this is the way that it's going to be, then I'm signing off my life. What, to be alone? Get up in the morning and come to Nakalamun with the dogs. I'm kind of bored with it all. And I feel like I get I can get a little bit excited about things, but not super excited. Even the retreat that we're doing, I still, inside of me, because inside of me there's like a feeling of, what do I just And then like there's so many different sides to this. There's also like the abracadabra side. Okay, so quit beating the drum. Quit beating the drum. Start telling yourself a different story. Tell yourself how much you love your life. I do. I do. I get up in the morning and I'm appreciative and I'm happy that I have this life. And I'm happy of the way that things are. I mean, in the big picture, if I do a big zoom out and I go way up and look down into my life, I'm really happy about the way that things have the way that my life is working, you know, the things that I've done and all of the different, you know, and the twin flame journey and this rising. Like I see myself a year ago and I see myself today, and it's a completely different person. I heard the voice messages that I left him yesterday. Like last night I was listening to the voice messages that I left him last year, and I'm a different person now. I'm a stronger person. I think differently. I do things differently. I feel like I was in a place of complete naivety, naive. But at the same time, I feel like I'm getting more and more naive by choice as I go along this journey. Like I'm becoming more and more of like a child. There's things that I just, you know, just go out and do, and understandings that I have that I didn't have a year ago. That I'm a different person. And I'm happy for that, but still at the same time, those emotions that I'm going through and all these ups and downs and turnarounds and running all over the place, I miss him. I miss him. And he's a stinker. He's a stinker. He's a stinker. Yeah, on the one hand, he, you know, I was listening to his voice message even a year ago, that he loves the person that I am and that he appreciates me. You know, even friends, don't friends want to spend time with each other? It seems like he doesn't want to spend time with me. It feels like all the time like he's just avoiding me. And I'm coming at him and he's avoiding me. And like, what kind of friendship is that? It doesn't feel like a friendship. It's like and when I need somebody, I don't feel like I can call him. What kind of friendship is that? Like when I really look at it, because I consider him to be like my best friend. But that doesn't feel like a best friend. You know, best friends you call and you want to be with and you spend time with, even if it was a girlfriend. But that I think that's because like he's avoiding me because he knows that you know, that I would like a romantic relationship with him. And the truth is, like, okay, so he says it, but I don't, there's a part of me, I just don't believe him. I don't believe him. I don't believe him that he doesn't feel that way towards me. It doesn't feel like it could be. It feels like you're joking, right? You're joking. And then when I really look at it and I think, well, could we even handle a sexual relationship with the intensity of the energy that is between us when we're together? I don't even know if we could handle. Like, I don't know. It would be like two universes colliding. I don't even know, like, if he came to me now and said, okay, let's have a sexual relationship, like, would I be able to even, yeah, I would. Totally. I don't, it would be overwhelming, I think. I think that there's a lot of things that would have to be settled. I don't know. I don't even want to say it. I don't know. I don't know. I just feel like sorrow that the things are. I don't know why. Like, I understand that there's like a potential for for dependency, for codependency in the twin flame relationship. And then when there's a codependency like that, then and like crap on top of your purity, then I could see how the relationship could be like mitaltel, like where it could like shake you, and it could be difficult, like going back and forth. That if we had a sexual relationship on top of all of this, that this whole journey could be a lot. There would be a lot more pain in it. It seems like, because the disconnects, when you've already had a sexual relationship, the disconnects would be far more painful than they are when you don't have that on top of it. And then I'm wondering if I should just let myself be completely, go out and explore other options. And then I think to myself, well, that's just prolonging. I don't know. And I know that as long as I don't know, that means that I'm still on this journey, and I'm still rising. Because when I am risen, I'll know. All the answers to all of these things will be obvious to me. That I do know. Because the further I ascend, the more I see clearly, the more clarity I have. Well, I'm getting back to my car now, and I'm going to go home. See? I'm glad I talked this out a little bit. Okay, well, thank you.